This is part 2 of the NLP Presuppositions, and we'll be talking about power beliefs for life today. So stay tuned. Welcome to the Best Years Podcast. This is Dr. Darlene at whatstopsyou.com. Are you a teenager or a young parent, baby boomer, or in your golden years? The best years are now, in each stage of development. So I've got power tools for you today that will help you make amazing changes so you can show up in the world with your amazingness. I really love talking about these presuppositions and basic beliefs and assumptions for life. Last time we talked about behind every behavior is a positive intention. Number 2, everyone is doing the best they can with the resources they know. Number 3, there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. And 4, people always make the best choice available to them at the time. Today, I'll be addressing three more presuppositions. The first one we'll talk about, and we'll call this number 5 out of 16, is we have all the resources we need. What does that mean? So, a helper, therapist, counselor, coach has a client come in, and we presuppose that the client actually has all the answers, usually at an unconscious level. Well, doesn't that make my job a lot easier? Yes, it does, because I can ask questions like, so, what do you want? Well, what would happen if? What would it look like? What would you then do? And if someone says, I don't know, I say, yes, you do. And their head tips like, really? So the only rule in my office, you can say the F word and you can FART, but you can't say I don't know, because you do know. And so I coach them, if they want to say I don't know, I coach them to say I don't know yet, right? You do know at an unconscious level why your knee hurts. You know at an unconscious level why you're mad and where it originated from. You literally know where it originated in childhood, say at age 3 on March 3rd at 2 o'clock. You know that unconsciously. Otherwise, hypnosis would never work, right? Because in hypnosis, we are triggering the unconscious memory, and the memories are always there. What does that tell us? Is that the client knows everything they need to know. They just don't know the order. They don't know the recipe, and that's what the helper is there for, is to help with that recipe. But how cool is that everyone already knows? They know how to be sober. They know how to forgive. Well, underneath everything they know, or it's scrambled up. It's kind of like having all the ingredients for banana bread, but you don't know how to put it together. And that's what the coach and helpers are for, is to help you put it together. But you already have the banana. You already have the nuts. You already have the flour, the egg, and the milk. And isn't that empowering? So when I see a client, again, I have so much patience and understanding, and I understand why do people do what they do. This helps us understand life. This is just so cool to know, not only understanding life, but how people navigate and work in the world, because everyone is so powerful. I can look at the worst troubled person in front of me and have so much respect for them and love and honor, knowing the power they have, the power they were born with, the power in them that they may not understand right now. It's humbling to me to work with every client, because I know they have all the resources they need. I just have to help them extract that and help them put the recipe together. So you have all the resources. You actually know the answers to all your questions somewhere in there. And you know what? That's what girlfriends are for. That's what friends are for. That's what parents are for, and colleagues and people you can chat it out with. Because how many times do you talk something through and the person listening only goes, really? Oh, yeah, And they didn't say anything. And after you talk, you say, thanks for listening. Oh man, I feel so much better. Oh yeah, that really makes sense now. Thanks. That happens all the time. Why? Because we have all the resources we need. It's just jumbled up. How amazing is that? And what honor and respect I have for each individual that I ever come into contact with. So think about that and how powerful you are. Let's move on to number 6. This one says in NLP verbiage, the map is not the territory. Well, what does that mean? So if you Google NLP presuppositions, one of them will say the map is not the territory. Well, what that means is if you have a map, it's not the territory. So the map is just telling you where the streets are, but what if there's construction? What if there was a meteor? You have to go around it. What if there was an earthquake? So the map may be old. And what this is referring to is a map is referring to beliefs. The beliefs you have aren't necessarily the truth. It doesn't matter if my map of the world is to be rude and scarcity and grab stuff and take it because that's my map. That's what I was taught with my beliefs and my upbringing. That's my map. But that's not always really the reality of what works best. So the territory or the truth is different than the map or the beliefs. So the map is the beliefs and the territory is the reality. So what if I changed my beliefs? Well, wouldn't that be neat? Now in my book, What Stops You, which is the name of my everything, my company, my website, etc. On Amazon, I have a book called What Stops You, Overcoming Self-Sabotage, Personal and Professional. And there's there's 2 chapters in there about how to change beliefs. And beliefs, that's a whole nother podcast. Beliefs aren't real. Beliefs are things like, I'll always be fat. Well, is that true or real? No. I'll always be a failure. I'll never amount to anything. I'm completely unlovable. That's my map of the world. And that's not the truth because my dog loves me and some people love me. So the map is not the territory. And changing beliefs is so cool. And when you know how, it's in a second. Literally, you can go from believing you'll always be fat or believing you're always going to fail. And in 1 5-minute session, I can help you change those beliefs. Boom, by using the techniques in my book. It's called I Think I Can, I Think I Can't chapter in my book. So it's really cool that we can change our deep core beliefs when we know how. If we don't know how, it's a life sentence of believing that thing. And I've had people 50 years old in my office that since they were age 3, they have believed something like the world is scary or some global belief that we change in 1 session when we know how. So that's exciting. Nice to know that we can change the map, or at least know the territory is not the map. Yeah. So that's a really cool one. It's a whole nother podcast, right? So watch for that one on limiting beliefs. Next presupposition. Last one for today. I call this number 7 out of 16. Anything is achievable if chunked down into small enough pieces. We have all heard the elephant metaphor. Can you eat an elephant? Well, of course you say no. Well, you can if it was 1 bite at a time, because you could eat an elephant 1 bite at a time. You can clean a whole warehouse 1 file at a time. And when you chunk things down, let me tell you, so many of the things that I teach, I must practice. I must. And chunking is something I think about every single solitary day in my life. So can I tell you, the hate word is strong, but I hate doing my laundry. And I kind of hate doing the dishes sometimes. Oh, no. I love doing the dishes and putting them in the dishwasher. Actually, it's kind of fun. I kind of feel all homey. But clearing out that dishwasher, not so much, because I can't reach the cupboards. It's in my way. The cups kind of drip and get my sleeves wet. It's my worst thing ever, is getting my sleeves wet. So how do I do it? I crack myself up because I say, okay, girlfriend, you can do 3 pieces of laundry. So I dump the laundry on my bed. And then as I'm walking around, I do 3 of them. And I put 3 things away and then I go do something else. And I'm so successful because I have accomplished what I said I would do. And then I say, okay, you can do 5. So I'll go in and I'll fold a towel, put some underwear in the drawer. I'll fold those Levi's and then I'll have to leave and walk out. I know. Okay, fine. I'm telling you some of my little weird things. And everyone has little weird things. So these are some of mine. Clearing out the dishwasher. I can do just the bottom, all in one stint. You can do it, girl. You can do it. So I do it. And then I come back and then I do the top of the dishwasher. And it's the same thing as, let's say, getting a master's degree. Everyone listening, unless you have a learning disorder, which then you still can, it would be just a different journey. Let's say the average functioning human wants to get a master's degree and they have 5 kids. Well, guess what? I had 5 kids and I got one. And anyone can get a doctorate as well. If you do what someone else did that got it and chunk it down. What's the first step is usually the biggest, the largest difficulty in understanding the chunking process is what's the first step to getting a upper degree. The first step is research for 5 minutes. The second step is research for 10 more minutes tomorrow. The next step is maybe calling a couple schools and just take 10 minutes doing that. Anyone can do that in 10 minutes. And the next step might be at the point where you sign up. Well, all I'm going to do, I already know this school. I already know this class and this blah, blah, blah. And so I'm going to spend 30 minutes doing just this. And that 30-minute piece has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So I'm so successful. I spent 30 minutes towards my doctorate. And I haven't even started my bachelor's yet. In fact, I'm finishing my GED. And that's awesome because you can chunk every task down into little tiny pieces and just sit down and go, okay, this chunk has a beginning, middle, and end. And if I do that, I'm successful. Woohoo! What'd you do today? Hey, prosperous day. I was really successful. I got lots done. Yes, I did. It's so awesome to chunk things down. So those are my 3 for today. And I want you to think about how you have all the resources you need. Right now, you just may need a friend or a coach to help you coach it out of you. And the map is not the territory. Your beliefs, honey, they're not real. They're just real to you. But that map is just a piece of paper, and the real territory is what's really existing. So check out about how to change limiting beliefs. And then think about your goals, and you can achieve everything and anything if you chunk it down into small enough pieces. Isn't that nice to know? I love it. I love these presuppositions. Next podcast will be the NLP Presuppositions Part 3. This is Part 2. And thanks for listening. I hope they helped you in your life generally and helped you understand other people. So please give comments below and we will talk soon. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to my channel so we can hang out. Also, go to whatstopsyou.com for notes to this podcast, more articles, and more tips so you can indeed live the best years of your life now.